Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
I'm Jo'Van.
I'm Brandice.
And this is
Closing the Gap.
We're so excited that you're here. You're probably wondering, why is our show called Closing the Gap? Well, we live in a time where there's tons of information out there, and it's hard to determine what's true,
what's false,
what's meaningful,
and what will truly feed your soul. We want to create a platform, a safe space for young adults to discuss everyday issues, but with a godly perspective. If you have questions, this is the show for you.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Whoop, whoop. So this is what? Episode 16, Jo'Van?
Man, I don't even know. I just want to say I'm proud of us right now.
We are doing the thing.
We got good sound. You know
Yes!
what I'm saying? Episode 16.
Yes.
And also, shout out Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? I had to represent. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We got the black on. Let them see the earrings, Brandice.
Okay, what does it say?
Ooh, black skin is dope.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You put some coconut oil.
I did put some coconut oil.
Look at you.
Legs are glistening. You see that little look at that.
Got a little bit. I think is that glitter? You must have put that glitter lotion on today, didn't you?
No, actually, that's just makeup.
Oh, okay. Hey, it don't matter where it came from. Glitter is glitter.
Glitter's popping over here. That's what we're
Hey.
doing.
Yeah. So yes, definitely wanted to represent Juneteenth, and yeah.
So
definitely.
yeah, so definitely. But if you guys have been watching and noticing, we've been doing a summer series. So I just wanted to just a little personal this go around. So Jo'Van, what is one of your favorite summer memories?
One of my favorite summer memories, honestly, this past summer, in 2020.
Really?
I was
COVID summer?
Yeah, I was not being. I went to Florida.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie. I went to Florida on vacation. It was, you know what it was. Let me just get into why. Because I feel like with COVID, you have to like.
Because when you said last summer, I was like, COVID summer? What? I
Last
was at
summer
home watching.
was amazing. No.
Tiger King. What?
No, for real. So let me just tell you, this summer was bomb, and the reason why it was so special is, in 2019, I was going through a breakup, and then on top of that, COVID happened. It shut down everything.
Yeah.
So mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I was in a tough time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got the opportunity to go on a vacation with some of my friends, and actually most of these people were people I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
They were new friends. It was only like 5 of us, so I don't want it to sound like it was like 15 people, but it was like
What
5
they call
of
a
us.
spreader.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Being very anyway, we went to Florida and we got an Airbnb. We rented a Jeep, had the top down driving. Obviously we weren't really in contact with any people because everything was shut down at that point. But it was just nice, and it was just fun, just getting away from the mental and emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a summer I'll never forget.
So even from like childhood all over. Like,
Oh yeah, I had some great childhood ones, but this one still just stuck out. What about you?
Well, I guess my biggest memories, like just top of my head, was like summers going to visit my aunt. My aunt Brenda. Hi, shout out to Aunt Brenda.
Hey, I'm Brenda.
First, she lived in New York, so I remember going to visit her in New York. We always did like sightseeing, going to museums, going to the Statue of Liberty, all the stuff, going swimming, made friends up there. Oh gosh, I remember one friend and she died. Sorry, sorry, I didn't want to go there. Okay, anywho, but there's so many good memories. And then she moved to Maryland, and I mentioned her a couple of episodes ago. I met my friend Alexis, and so I met Alexis actually when I was going to visit my aunt in Maryland when she moved down to Maryland. But I have so many good memories of just hanging with my aunt and my cousins, and just she always like showed me like different things and just exposed me to different things. And so shout out to you. I love you so much. Thanks for all those memories. I cherish them so much. But there were some great summers. Like, yeah. I mean, of course, like the summer camp, I did enjoy that too. But my summers with Aunt Brenda were just like top tier.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what life's about. It's about
Yeah.
creating memories. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I think, that we have a lot more memories to create, a lot more summers.
Yeah,
Guys,
definitely.
let us know in the comments, like, what was your best summer vacation? Where did you go? What did you do? Who did you go with? And what made it so special? Because, I just think having stories, summer stories, that's good. That's good stuff. So.
Yeah, summer is a good time. I mean, I hate being hot and being in the heat, but I love like going swimming, going to the beach, so things like that. So if you get me around the pool, I am a happy camper. Or in the ocean, happy camper.
It's good stuff. I pool or beach?
Pool, number one, definitely, just because you can swim more. But I love a good beach too, ride the waves, all that jazz. So
I feel that.
can you swim?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I just wondering.
Yeah, I grew up swimming a lot, and I remember, yeah. I'm now like one thing I struggle with is floating. I just never been a floater. Like it takes a lot of work for me to stay afloat.
Just relax. Gotta come one with the water.
If I relax, I will drown. Okay,
I think a lot of guys are like that. I remember my dad. When we were trying to teach him how to swim, he was just like kept like flow going down and yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's like the muscle. I think the muscle kind of heavier and going down. So maybe that's why.
Let me tell you this real quick. The best swimming experience I ever had was when I went to Kink. Well, the best. It was the most challenging swimming experience. No, actually, that's not even a lie. So I got two things I got to say. So I learned swimming as a child, right? Mm-hmm. But I also learned swimming when I was training with some football players. And I'm talking about like guys that were going to the NFL. I was training with them and I was training them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I used to do that when I was living in Georgia. And so they would put the guys in the pool and attach bungees to their waist to swim against the pressure of the bungees. Mm-hmm. And I did that. That's the second hardest swimming I've ever done.
Yeah,
okay, because it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. But then I also swam in Cancun, and I swam with flippers, and I swam for like half a mile. And when I say I thought I was gonna die, like
that's like that's resistant,
serious. Yeah, it was crazy. But I learned swimming on your back. That's the move.
Like just like I can only like the backstroke on my back. I can't do like I don't know.
So if you get you a life vest, swim on your back, that is the move. It makes it's so much
more like a frog when I'm on my back. Like
it's less energy, honestly.
Yeah,
it is. So
you make me want to go swimming. I miss the pool.
We're gonna do a Closing the Gap episode from the pool. We're doing it. It's summer. We have to.
Summer series, guys. We got to make it live and happening.
Take the soundboard to the pool. You know, Mitch. You know what I'm saying?
That might be a live episode.
Yes.
From the pool. Got the pool.
I'm like dead serious.
Oh, I know. I'm with you.
Okay, bet.
Not joking. I won't joke about the pool.
Sweet. I'm excited. Okay. All right. Let's get into the topic of the day.
Whoop, so, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about finances. Woo! You know what I'm saying? Finances. So much fun. No, finances are important, especially in relationships. Lordy. And what we're going to talk about is financial mistakes that couples make.
Yes. How many are there?
We have four main mistakes. So the first one we're going to talk about is couples not taking financial responsibility.
Yes.
Financial responsibility. And that's not just both. That could be one person's taking responsibility, the other one's taking no responsibility. And we're going to talk about like what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
So I'll start it off by saying like I think it's very important that couples both are on the same page when it comes to finances. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters like if both people manage the finances, that's fine. If one person manages the finances, that's fine. But they both still have to be on the same page when it comes to how the money is spent. Because you can't have one person that's like staying on top of like where the money's going, paying the bills, and the other person's just doing their own thing. Because now you're conflicting each other. You're not working together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Have to work towards that common goal,
right?
So you have to communicate that goal with your significant other. If the goal is you want to save for X, Y, and Z, right. But you don't communicate, like you have in here, like, okay, I want to do this, but you're not communicating. So they might be like, oh, well, we got a nice little nest egg. I'm gonna just go shopping, but like you have to be on that common goal and agree on that goal. Don't just like this is what we're gonna do. You have to like make sure that you have the communication. Communication is key. And agree on that common goal and stick to that goal together.
100%. And because it's like one thing I always say is finances is trust. You know what I'm saying? And if you without trust, you can't have a
Especially
relationship.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without trust. And if you can't trust someone with finances, or you can't come to an agreement of how the finances are handled,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't rely on that person to be responsible and follow that, that's going to cause stress. Because let's say you guys, like most couples do, they have debt when they come together,
Mm-hmm.
and one person says, hey, let's make a plan to knock down this debt.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To improve our credit so we can get, whatever, trying to get a better rate on a house and, all that stuff, or on a car, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, okay, right? So we're going to save, $1,000 a month. Well, if they agree, but one person's like spending money on whatever, like clothes or going out to eat, during their lunch breaks or whatever.
Oh, the sale or no. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then the other person gonna be like, we have $5. we saved nothing.
Right.
They're gonna be like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, what was the agreement? If you guys aren't on the same page and you guys don't respect the agreement y'all had, there will be stress.
It will be. And finances is one of the big stress on a lot of relationships, because a lot of times that trust and that people break that agreement, like you said, whether they're like, okay, well, I'm going to nip off a little bit here and a little bit there, but that little bit adds up. So you have to make sure you keep that common goal together and respect that other person, because if you don't, that your trust, that trust in you will be broken, and that's really hard to be put back. So it's really important to make sure that you keep that goal, that common goal, together and stick to your end of the bargain. If you know you're saving $1,000 a month, make sure you stick to that. Don't say, oh, well, this dress was just, I'm going to just take out 100. They won't notice it. No.
Oh my gosh. Because yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
They won't notice it, because they're definitely going to notice it when there's not enough, to put towards whatever.
Right.
And so I think that leads into the second point, which is, we kind of covered it, but communication. Not only communicating where you want to go, but what is your finances to begin with?
Yes.
Your individual
going into
finances.
that relationship.
Absolutely.
Make sure you are honest and truthful of where you stand. Don't go into it and say, oh, I don't have any debt. I'm good. I'm a good standing. And then next thing you know, you're getting married to this person, and then you're accumulating all this debt that they said they didn't have. So you definitely want to make sure you're honest and truthful of where you stand. I mean, just be honest. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, like, let's talk about it from a spiritual point of view. Like, let's talk about tithes. Okay. Well, let's say you get in a relationship with someone that's never tithed in their life. You know what I'm saying? And now you're talking about, hey, all the money you think you have to spend? Well, 10% of that is not to spend. 10% of that is to give to the church. You know what I'm saying? If you don't talk about that in the beginning, that person could be like, whoa, we have more money than this. Like, no, we don't. That's God's money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you're like,
and again, that's something you have to communicate, especially, I mean, if they're not tired, it's like, what? That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But you have to communicate every single thing, even down to tithing, savings, whatever the case may be. This is what I do. This is how, I don't know, every single goal, every debt, everything. Communicate every single thing to that person, so they don't be like, they won't be in the dark or surprised.
Right.
You don't want them to be surprised by anything that comes up. Like, you're trying to go get this house, and they're like, oh, okay, great, and then, well, Mr. Johnny.
Right. I know I'm still growing, and I like to point out, I never want to present myself as like I'm perfect. I'm this perfect person that has all together, because I definitely don't.
You're not perfect.
Well, I may look perfect, but it's not,
Listen,
it's not like that.
Okay, I was not trying to go that route.
I'm not that vain. Okay, I'm not that self-centered. Anyway, what I was going to say was, I know for me, I like, if I'm in a bad financial position one month because of whatever happened, like, I may be like, okay, I can't pay my tithes this month. And I know spiritually that's not the right. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not right, but sometimes, like, that's a real thing, struggle for me. You know what I'm saying? And so I know if I'm in a relationship with someone who that's like a deal breaker, it's like, no, you always pay your tithe. I'd be like, okay, well, that's something I would be upfront with someone. It's like, hey, I believe in tithing. You know what I'm saying? But, if I had like an emergency or something like that,
better eat some peanut butter jelly.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you should do. You should God should get his 10% no matter
Yes,
what. You know
that
what I'm
part.
saying?
Yes.
So
I'm gonna put that out there for the people.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
God always gets his 10%. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect at that, but that's something I'm definitely trying to get better at for
Yeah.
real, 100%. So
Definitely. So, moving on to the next.
oh yeah. Okay. We kind of covered this financial transparency. So you gotta, like, let's say you get into a relationship with someone, y'all, everything's going great, and you guys start talking about, let's talk about, you're talking about school, college, and this person never tells you that they got $100,000 in debt. You know what I'm saying? Before you commit to someone like on a marriage level,
Yes.
you need to know
You need
what
to
you're
know
getting
what
into.
you're getting yourself into.
'Cause-
Definitely. That's the worst thing to do, is like paint the picture that everything's perfect or that it's less than actually is, and then once you cross over and get married and then like trying to do all these things, have that goal in hand, and you're like, well, I got all this to carry along with me.
Right. And it's like, because once you get the number, like the number of whatever their debt is, you ask, okay, well, how much of that is school? Because school is like, okay, let's talk about like how it got to that number. You know what I'm saying? Was it room and board?
Mm-hmm.
Was it like, whatever. Okay. But if it's like credit card debt, there's a lot. You can look at credit card debt and you can see like what are their habits.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The
so
habits.
You need to look at that.
Yes.
If they have a ton of credit card debt, sometimes if someone's like, it could be medical bills, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to, but you have to investigate that.
Yes.
And I feel like this is the next thing I'll say is, if a person gets like defensive about sharing that, and y'all are considering marriage, I feel like that is a red flag.
It is a red flag because first, again, for like the 50th time, communication is key. So if you can't communicate on finances, which is really
and be
key,
transparent.
Yes, be transparent on finances and communicate where you stand, and that is key, because then you won't be able to trust or build that goal together.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I know if I had $50,000 in credit card debt, I know the other person would be like, well, what is that debt? Is it just consumer spending? Is it medical bills?
Right.
What is it? You know what I'm saying? I just think that's definitely that's part of being transparent.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you want how people spend their money, you learn a lot about them.
Yes.
100%.
Their habits, which I feel like that's the next. Was that the next?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, so the next is, another reason why people have financial stress is bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly, that being transparent, and just being observant of how they spend their money when y'all are together.
Yeah.
You know,
if they're always like, oh, I want to go going shopping, going out to eat, and just not being responsible or whatever the case may be. And that's the problem. You need to pay attention to that. Like if they're just like, oh, well, this is on sale, so I just got it, or whatever the case may be, and they can't afford it. If they are doing all that, but then the next week they're like, oh, well, I don't really have any money to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, why did you go splurge on this? If that's a habit of theirs, they're always going for the sale, always going to eat. But then when it's time to do something else, they're like, I don't have any money. Well, you have a habit of like just kind of like binging and splurging and not really being responsible with your money, so that you can't even make it to the next paycheck or whatever the case may be to do the stuff that you need to do.
Right.
So you do definitely want to make sure that you are aware and watching those type of habits.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And as a man, I feel like this isn't all relationships, but I think how I was brought up, man is a leader, and that's a lot. I mean, I feel like being a leader in every aspect of the relationship, I think that is a little bit of pressure, because you're not going to be perfect in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of finances, I feel like a man should, be a leader in finances. Now, there's obviously some men that aren't great at that, and maybe the woman's better. So, you gotta work with what you got.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're the man, or if you're the person that's in charge of the finances, and you're not even handling that, how is that other person supposed to trust you? Because I know, if as a man, if it's my job to make sure the finances are good, but I'm all over the place and I'm not looking at how much I'm spending, I know my spouse is going to be like, I can't trust this
Yes,
guy.
you're not going to feel secure. You're
Exactly.
going to be like,
That's going to
it's that
affect security.
Yes, it's going to be that uncertainty. Like,
Right.
you have to have that security. And I mean, finances is a really important
Mm-hmm.
topic, and it does add to that security
Right.
and trust. So that is really important. And if you're not paying attention, you're not focused, or keeping that goal, that common goal, then that can cause a lot of the other issues, a lot of arguments and nagging and just back and forth that just doesn't have to be there.
Absolutely. And it's like I know for me, if I take that role as the person who is mostly financially responsible for everything,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure everything is, good, um, I know if I start slipping up, then my partner will feel like they have to step up. And that's not how the relationship started. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like that's not a role that they got in this relationship to take on.
Yeah.
So I understand that's how deep it can get.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, this relationship is not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to step up in areas I didn't have to before. And I feel like it's important to always stay focused when it comes to finances,
Yeah,
if you want to
definitely.
go, especially if you have a vision of where you want to be, you have to know what, finances,
Definitely. Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to ask you, remember that video I sent you?
Oh, yes, on Instagram.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So financially stable. Let's talk
So
about
explain the video to the people.
that. Okay. So I saw this video on Instagram, and the video was basically,
Two guys, like it was a podcast kind of.
it was like a podcast. And basically the guy speaking, he said a woman that is with a man who is not financially stable, she will view him as a project. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what he said, it almost came off as, I do believe that women do like projects. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I think there's a difference in level of respect
Mm-hmm.
for a man that is a project versus a man that already has stuff together.
Yeah.
I believe that a man that has his stuff together is more attractive 100% of the time.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And so my question was like, well, should a man even be with a woman if he's not financially stable? Because I don't feel like that's the best relationship that man can be in. That's not the best relationship the woman can be in, especially if she wants to like relax. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I guess my first question to you is, what is define financially stable?
Well, based on that video, I did not take it as the guy's making more money. It was more the debt he has, or bad credit, or just not basically handling his money properly. That's just the way that video was. They were talking anyway, and I think we talked about this yesterday. If he has no plan, or like say life happens, he's in the situation, bad credit, not things just happen out of his control. But this is where the issue. If he has no plan, like, okay, I know I don't have the best credit. I don't whatever. So if he doesn't have a plan, like, okay, I'm gonna get a couple of more hours of work. I'm gonna get a second job. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to take this class to better myself so I can make more money at my job, or whatever the case may be. If he has no plan set out of this is what I'm going to do, then at that point it does become a project, and it's like, I don't think that the respect won't be there if he has no kind of plan, or because those are two different guys. Because there's some life happens and some people are down on their luck. I don't ever want to like say, oh, if you're down, whatever. But because you can have a plan and legit hustling out there, getting that second job to better yourself, taking extra courses to better gain more knowledge, and so you can get that promotion to better yourself. So there are some guys who did have a hard life, but they're better than themselves, have a plan to make sure they have a better future, to better financial stability.
Right.
But then the flip side of the guys who just like, it's a pipe dream. It's like, oh, I wanted to do this, but what are they doing about it? They're just complaining, working at that little odd job and not really bettering themselves. So when it comes to that, that's when this becomes an issue for most women. It should be anyway. And that's when it's like, okay, I feel like the women who do take on that's their project. Okay, I can better him. I can pull him up. So That's just how I
No,
took it
that
from
makes
that video.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess when I love the way you broke that down because
Hmm.
it does make sense. I guess I was curious also is like when he said financially stable, does that mean this man has to have his own home, like his own house?
It can be, but I think, but my thing is always about the plan and the process.
Got
Because
it.
if even if he's not, but you see that grind and that hustle, he has that laid out plan, then that's a different type of man, as
Right.
opposed to somebody's not financially stable and they're just a pipe dream. Like, oh, I want to be a rapper, or oh man, one day I'm going to do this. But
Not a rapper.
listen, but no, for real, like there's no plan in place. There's no kind of like bettering themselves or going out and getting it.
Right. Okay. No, I love that. I really have nothing to add to that because you broke it down and I completely agree. Like,
Well, thank you.
yeah, that was good.
We agree, people.
Yeah. It's not often that happens, but yeah. But anyway, let us know like what other issues you believe that couples can experience due to finances, and how to remedy those situations. Like, you
Yes.
know, how do you solve that? And even in dynamics within a relationship between man and a woman, do you feel like the man should handle the finances? Do you feel like the woman should handle the finances? Do you feel like it should be more of an equal thing? Do you feel like it just depends on the couple and how they want to do it? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Good.
And also, let us know if you ever been in a relationship, or was it be possible if you have one person who's a suspender, who's always have bad habits, how can that relationship work if that other partner is like, I want to save, I have this goal, but the other person is not really like sticking to that goal and they're spending and being frivolous with their money, just out here doing whatever. So
I
can
mean,
that work?
I think so because if I'm a sugar daddy, right?
We're not talking about a
No,
sugar
no, listen.
daddy.
I'm giving you an allowance. You know what I'm saying? You don't get access to all the money. You get an allowance.
We're not talking about sugar daddy.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about. And also, I did want to bring out some scriptures on finances because always want to bring it back to the kingdom and what God has to say. So, first, as far as the financial unstable guy, Proverbs 10:4 says, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." So if you want some money, you got that goal, you better get out there and start working, start hustling. I mean, you might have to work 2 or 3 jobs. That's okay, but you get your hands out there, get to working.
That's facts. Nothing's given.
Nothing is given. And also Romans 13:8. I'm going to read the first. I guess I read the whole thing. Let no debt remain outstanding. That's but except the continuing debt to love to one another. But just per the Bible, don't let those debts keep remaining and accumulating. You just want to make sure you're taking care of your finances and taking care of your money, and because that's really important, especially in relationships. If you're doing it, you're bad by yourself. That's one thing, but don't take it into the relationship. So,
Right.
but you shouldn't do it by yourself either. Clearly, it's just let no debt remain.
You do it by yourself, it's your problem. When you do it with someone else, now it's
No,
our
I'm just
problem.
saying you just don't want to bring anybody in that foolery.
Right.
But as a whole, as an individual, you should not do it either. So I just want to put that out. It sounded weird when I said like, well, you can do it bad by yourself. No. You want to better yourself as well.
You can ruin your life.
Don't
ruin anyone
mine.
else's. Yeah, exactly. Don't ruin mine, please.
I'm just kidding. You want to be better for yourself.
I mean it though. I'm not.
No, for real though. But I just didn't want it to come off like whatever. It doesn't matter about the individual. It does matter about the individual. So that's all I want to say.
I feel that. No one thinks you're a bad person, Brandice. Awesome. Not the awkward pause. Anyway, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Like we said, like, comment, subscribe, and share. You know what I'm saying? If you enjoyed this, if this added value to your lives or entertainment, share it with other people. And thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Whoop whoop. Goodbye, people.